Welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. And I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make banana bread because these bananas are getting almost to the point where they're just not going to be super tasty as a banana. And I really love banana bread. So when I do bananas like this, I actually kind of like mash them up in the peel, and then eventually it kind of splits, but you get just a little bit of a mashed banana, which I don't know if it really even makes a difference, but it's just like it feels really firm, and so if I open it up it just feels kind of weird to like put it in there, but I'm gonna use my blender, so I don't know, maybe it's a goofy thing I do. But anyway, my point is you want 2 bananas in your bowl, and then what I do right away is just use my little blender to whip them up and make sure I've got 1 cup worth of bananas. So I'm going to do that really quick. And you could do this with a fork, or I suppose almost, hang on, that just got right down there. You could do this with a fork and just mash your banana. You're just trying to get it smooth, basically, so that banana is everywhere. All right, and that is 1 cup of banana, so that's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to add 2 eggs, and this is a recipe I've had, I think, since college. I got like this really goofy like desserts cookbook that was like thick and paperback and had a million recipes. And you know how sometimes you find one you really love in those kind of things, and this was one of them. So I've had the same recipe like my whole life, and people have really different recipes and they all taste a little bit different. So I'm going to blend this together. Oopsie. Okay, and then I got egg on me or something. Okay, then I'm going to do 1/2 cup of oil, and this is like a peanut oil, but I suppose you could do butter, melted butter. I never do, I guess. I have done it with olive oil, and for a long time I did it with olive oil, and you can kind of taste it. The light tasting is obviously better, but whatever kind of oil your family prefers to use, I guess. All right, so 1/2 cup of that. So now I have my 2 bananas, 2 eggs, and 1/2 cup of oil. And it doesn't take a whole lot of blending, but I definitely want it all blended nicely together. And that's it for the blender. Now the rest of it's going to be just stirring by hand. So now I'm going to add my dry ingredients, and I think this recipe is just super fast. It comes together really quickly. So that's another reason I probably like it. And I do think it just tastes really good. Okay, so I'm going to do, oh wait a second, one thing I need to do. The magic, I think, of this recipe is that it's got this sour cream with baking soda, and it kind of like poofs up. So after I add my oil, then I add my 1/4 cup. Okay, so this is my 1/2 cup, but I'm only going to fill it half full because it does generally poof up a little bit when you add the baking soda. It's some like cool science behind it all. And then it gives a nice moisture to your bread. So a 1/4 cup of baking, oh my gosh, of, what is that stuff? Sour cream. And then I do a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And that chemical reaction produces this nice little, like, puffed up sour cream. So I'm going to stir that in really quick. Boy, if I could get my words right, maybe everything would be really easy. Whew. All right, and I like to do this to give it a few minutes to poof up and get that chemical reaction going. So we're going to see now in 5 minutes if it is up to the top. Hopefully it will be. Okay, so now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. So got 1 cup of flour and 2 cups. And I used to also add like wheat germ to this one because, you know, the banana already kind of has that like brown flecks in it. So this is a really easy recipe to add like wheat germ or bran or whatever if you want, and you can barely notice it. But I'm actually out of wheat bran right now, so I can't add it. So I'm just gonna do flour, that's okay. And then I need 3/4 cup of sugar, and I really do need all 3/4 cup. A lot of times I like chintz out on the sugar and try to reduce it a little bit. But for this one, boy, I've got some wicked chunks in there. This one I have learned that the 3/4 cup for this amount just makes it nice and sweet without being like a cake, you know. So, and this is 1/2 cup. That's what I was measuring. I've done the measurement on that to know that it really is 1/2 cup. And then I need baking powder. I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So about like that. And then we're going to do a little bit of salt, 1/2 teaspoon, which is about like that. I think that's it. Flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, salt. Okay, so then I'm going to mix this all up. And I got a chunk of sugar here. So this is really fast. You can also put this basically in muffin tins or whatever, muffin pans if you didn't want to do the bread. But I do usually do muffin or bread for this, and then I have like another banana recipe I use for muffins, but it's really very similar. Okay, so I don't want to over stir this. Like that's it. I'm going to stop right there. Okay, then I'm going to get my 1 cup of chopped nuts ready. And you can leave these out, obviously, if you don't want the nuts. And these are considered chopped nuts, but they're kind of big. I usually buy like whole nuts and then I chop them. But I don't know, I decided to kind of go with this chopped nuts, which they are really way bigger than I would normally do. But I've also kind of liked having that chunkier thing in my bread, so I'm just going with it for today. It's just going to be fine. I'm getting my pan ready. So now I've added my cup of nuts, and now see, like this isn't doubled up, but it has definitely risen. So now I'm going to add this to my batter, and then this is just a little more moisture and a nice kind of rich moisture, so that will make it be good. And then gosh, that seems so easy, but that really is it. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this stuff in versus like just stir it in like crazy. So I don't really want to overwork my quick bread dough because that can make it kind of tough. But I do want my sour cream all mixed in and my nuts all mixed in. So you just kind of gently, like, you know, I do a thing where I like go around and then I flip my spoon over. So I go around and then I flip my spoon, and like that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Once my sour cream is kind of gone, then I just call it quits. So, and I am going to make, there's my oven telling me it's 350, which is perfect timing. I'm going to make mini loaves because I just really like that for banana bread. It's just kind of cute and nice. But I'm only going to make 3 because my recipe doesn't actually make 4 nice sized loaves. So when I have an empty thing, an empty spot, I always feel like I want it to be full of water so it doesn't wreck my pan or get too crazy. So I'm just going to dump this in equally between my 3 loaves. You could do 4 loaves, but then they aren't quite as tall. And wow, this is a lot of nuts. It's going to be so good. I really like nuts in my quick breads. But again, if you don't, just don't put them in. And everything else really should be the same. Or you can do pecans, of course. I've never done slivered almonds in this. I usually always do walnuts, honestly, for the banana bread. But whatever, it's flexible. Okay, so this one doesn't have as much, so I need to probably put almost all of this in this one. So you want your bread pans to be, you know, like 3/4 of the way full, because then they'll rise up and hopefully come all the way up to the top with a nice mound on the top. If I did a 4th one here, then all these would be really short, and then they just wouldn't be that nice full size, I guess, of a mini loaf. That's funny, a full size of a mini loaf. That doesn't even make sense, but it does if you know what I'm talking about. So, okay. And then sometimes I sprinkle cinnamon and sugar on top. And then one time I did just plain cinnamon, and I did not like that because then by the time the bread is done baking and it gets all golden, it look too dark. But I don't really want the cinnamon taste. I don't need the sugar. So that's it. I'm done. I'm throwing it in the oven because it's really fast. So that's it. So I am going to let that bake for probably 45 minutes, or I'll probably set my timer for 40 and then check it, but it does take a good amount of time. So we'll be back in 40 or 45 minutes. All right, thanks. Okay, we are back. My banana bread has been in the oven about 44 minutes, so I'm going to pull it out and test it out here. Oh, let me dump this water out of it. Okay, so when I have the extra water in here, I dump it out right away. Okay, all right, so they're nice and golden brown. Nothing's coming out. So they are absolutely perfect. So see how they're nice? They're like up to the sides and a nice little mound on top. So I'm going to let these rest for like 8 to 10 minutes. And then they'll kind of shrink away from the pan a little bit and they'll pop right out. So we'll be right back in about 8 or 10 minutes. Okay, we are back and the house smells delicious. So we are going to see if these just come right out of the pan, which they really should. I'm really hoping they do. Get that water out of there. So look at this. They just are beautiful. So nice. All right. Uh-oh, this one's a little sticky. Hang on, I got to get my little tool. Where is it? This gadget, I think it was called like an avocado peeler, but it's like paper thin. I've cut my finger on it actually, like trying to, I don't know, do things, and it's so thin, but it is so nice because it gives you like the thinnest possible edge, and so you can basically go around these kind of things without really getting into your product or your food. Like a butter knife's just really thick compared to that. So I have discovered having these little gadgets, it's kind of nice. Ouch, this is just still really hot. Okay, that popped out. All right, so there are our 3 beautiful loaves of banana bread. I'm going to get a knife and cut into one right away. Now in theory, I should wait another like 10 minutes and let them cool down because hot baked goods are always very soft and delicate, but I don't want to wait any longer. So, and the other thing I was going to say, I'll let them cool for just a second, about quick breads I've discovered is like every recipe is very different, and I think you just have to keep trying a different recipe until you find the texture and the taste and the sweetness that you want. My mom's recipe and my aunt's recipe are all very different than my recipe, and of course I like mine the best. But you know, they all taste like banana bread, but it's just the different textures and sweetness, and I don't know, it's been really surprising as I have discovered more people's breads. They just taste really different than my bread. So I'm going to cut into this, and it might be very delicate. So there's my huge walnut that's making like a hole almost because I cut it down. But look at that. It's just loaded with walnuts. Okay, so if this is too many walnuts for your preference in a quick bread, just cut it in half, and then you might really want to chop them up so that they're not such big chunks every now and then. I'm going to have big chunks like all over, it looks like, which is fine with me because I really do like nuts. So let's try it out. Okay, it's so hot that I can hardly even taste the banana, to be honest. Like, all I tasted was the walnut and like just hot stuff. So this, like bread and baked goods, really do need a good 10 minutes to rest and to cool so you can get the full flavor. But I use this for breakfast a lot or snacks. I've given this as a gift. Just wrap up a little loaf as a gift. Any kind of little loaf is cute as a gift. But anyway, that's your banana bread. So thank you very much for watching Box for You with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you try banana bread, and I hope that this texture and this sweetness is something you like. And if not, just keep searching. But I do appreciate your time watching, and I will see you guys on the next show. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.